Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, our group will present the topic, the independence of the Shariah community from management influence in Malaysia. So, my name is Nurairin Syafika binti Awang. I will explain about introduction and background. The next presenter is Wong Man Yee, Fitriana, and also Asyiqin Mustaffa. So, the introduction, the independence of the Shariah community from management influence in Malaysia. The first is the Shariah Committee plays a significant role in advising and supervising the operation of Islamic financial institutions in order to ensure that the Islamic financial activity carried out by those institutions complies with Sharia principles. So second is the Sharia community is also true to play significant role in Islamic financial organization, governance structure. Third is the Sharia community's independence in carry out its duties and function. It is critical component in preserving the institution reputation. Additionally, it is for boosting public trust in the institution to Sharia. Every Islamic business must have an independent Sharia committee in order to ensure IFI Sharia compliance. On the other side, question regarding the Sharia committee objective may raise a public concern about legal and illegal business practices in the management of Islamic financial institutions. So the confidence of stockholder will also be indirectly impact. Independence often refer to being free from outside influence controllers. In order to make sure that the institution complies with a Sharia law, the Sharia committee, an independent body of legal professional with expertise in Islamic transaction or commercial law, has a specific responsibility to direct, review, and approve IFI activity. So that's the introduction, the independence of the Sharia committee from management in influence in Malaysia. So the next, I will explain about a background of issue. So about background of issue, to guarantee that Islamic financial institution IFI lead their business as per Sharia, a successful arrangement of rules, practices, and circles should be set up. This affects the IFI standing Sharia governance and the possible future development of the Islamic monetary, especially a subject like freedom, effective, consistency, and data sharing should remain corresponding to the Sharia committee. Third point is a warming body made by Islamic monetary establishment called the Sharia Committee assume an urgent part in ensuring that the Islamic monetary exchange completely by the organization comply with Sharia rules. So the last point about background of issue is this conversation show that Malaysia has area of strength for a framework set up to guarantee the freedom of the Sharia committee. Significant element to consider incorporate the choice technique for the Sharia committee. The choice is regard to its pay, the place of the committee inside the setting of Islamic monetary established. So Sharia Committee fairness in releasing its commitment to the sheet of Islamic monetary established. So that's all about introduction and background of issues. So I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to Irene Shavika. Now I will continue with the related laws, standard or the guideline. In preserving the independence, the AAOIFI standard emphasizes five things as a pillar of independence, including objectivity, continuous assessment, the basis of independence of the SC, and others are as guidelines for the IFI. In achieving objectivity, which refer to the sustainability of this independent mental attitude of the body in implementing Sharia supervision, the standard outlines several things that need to be practiced by IFI as follow: the AAOIFI governance standard for Islamic financial institution number 5. In independence of the Sharia supervisory board, the first is the member of the SC should not subordinate their judgment on matter of Sharia supervision to others. The second, the SC is required to exercise Sharia supervision in manner in which they have an honest belief in their work. They should avoid any potential and actual situation that impair their ability to make objective, professional judgment. The third is ST member should not be employers of the same IFI. And the fourth is the SC and its members should not be involved in any way with respect to the management decision and operational responsibility of the IFI. And the last, when a member of the SC is in the engagement period or immediately before the engagement period, a client officer or IFI partner, the previous period shall not be less than 3 years. The second point is in section 30 bracket 1 of the IFSA set out the general principle of the SC's duty to advise the IFI in ensuring that its business affairs the activities comply with Shariah. In addition, the section 3(2) of the same act stipulated that the SC and each member of the SC shall have the duties and function prescribed in any standard as prescribed by the CBM under section 29 bracket 2 bracket A of the Act Bank Negara Malaysia 2009, hereinafter referred to as CBMA. The CBMA also provide a settlement where the ruling made by the SC establishment in Malaysia by the IFI different from the ruling issued by the SAC. The ruling of the SSC will apply CBMA section in section 58. The third guideline on corporate governance for licensed Islam, that bracket BNM RHGL, hereafter referred to as GPI 1, Central Bank of Malaysia 2007, require that the board of directors shall include directors who are the group uh, provide a combination of core expertise, for example, finance, accounting, legal, business management, information technology, and investment management. The appointment of SC members with expert in Sharia and Islamic finance as member of the board is in line with the requirement of GP1I. The existence of board members who are knowledgeable in the field of Sharia and Islamic finance can enhance the effectiveness of the board in discharging their responsibility for Sharia compliance. At the same time, the member can provide the necessary check and balance, ensuring that the IFI operate in safe and sound manner in line with the objectivity of the IFI. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, Fitriana. Next, my name is Nur Ain Asyiqin Mustaffa, matrix number 280896, and I'll be continuing the presentation part or related case study with the issue of the independence of the Shariah Committee from management influence in Malaysia. There are a few cases that are related to this issue. Several cases have been brought under the watchful eye of the court in recent years to examine the authenticity of Islamic financial items and administrations, which have at times resulted in monetary loss to the bank due to the appointed authority's decision to consider the agreement invalid and void. The court found that Baik Taman Ajil or BBA was invalid in Arab Malaysian Finance Berhad versus Taman Ihsan Jaya Sdn Berhad because the BBA contract constituted a lawful transaction exchange. As a result, if the bank valued the contract at a higher overall value, the agreement was no longer a legitimate deal exchange but rather a finance agreement comparable to a mortgage. As a result, it violates the Islamic Banking Act 1983 and the Banking and Financial Institution Act 1989, both of which require Islamic monetary institutions to adhere to Islamic law, Arab Malaysian Financial Berhad versus Taman Ihsan Jaya Sdn Berhad. In Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad versus Lim Kok Ho and other appeals, the Court of Appeal reversed the Taman Jaya decision and upheld the BBA's legality as an enforceable agreement. According to Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, The legitimacy of BBA contract at the supporting office was also investigated in the case of Datuk Haji Mahmud Daud versus Bank Kerjasama Rakyat Malaysia Berhad, CIMB Islamic Berhad versus MC Corporation Syariah Berhad, Afin Bank Berhad, as well as few other cases. Additional concerns and disputes are predicted to occur when Islamic banks make substantial headway toward market growth and greater item complexity, assuring Sharia compliance concepts and bolstering the brief. As a result, the Sharia administration must keep up with Islamic financial partners' dependability. This is because a lack of care for all elements of Sharia compliance would have a negative influence on the manageability of the Islamic financial industry. That will be all from me. I will pass it to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, the previous presenter. My name is Wong Man Yee, metric number 280885. Now I would like to discuss the solution for the issue. To begin, the issue of independence arises as a result of the money made by Sharia committee members for their active participation in merchandise structuring. This compromises the rationality of its advisory position and the board's reporting. Furthermore, it is believed that management affects the Sharia committee in forming their opinion. The above issue will be resolved in the unique Sharia governance policy statement, in which Sharia committees are permitted to see an existing procedure in bringing up here with their perception, and management is essential to withdraw in during Sharia process of consultation. Second, Sharia committees have been expected to increase their competency in the banking and financing industries. A portfolio of Sharia scholars who is highly skilled in finance and banking and fixed study related to Islamic finance is required. Moreover, the Malaysian Association of Sharia Advisors (ASAS) is addressing this issue by launching the Certified Sharia Advisors Program. That also aims to prove and increase capacity and the competency of Sharia advisors both locally and globally. Third, in terms of transparency, Sharia committees were asked on two fronts. One is the nature of the work done in preparing the Sharia committee report. Second is the level of disclosure transparency, specifically the lack of reporting on Sharia non-compliant revenue by the huge percentage of Islamic financial institutions. As of 2010, the Monetary Authority reasoned the needs for disclosing non-compliant profit, process of purified and recipient of Sharia non-compliant cash flow. Only a few banks even so publicly release the info in their annual disclosures. The Sharia Committee is required to form opinions on the Sharia Committee report, it through future document based on the specific framework proposed by Islamic finance institution. Notwithstanding, this may result in a different approach for issuing a Sharia opinion, sparking some other argument in the industry about this research method. As a result, ASAS attention may be required to create a set of clear methodology, benchmarks, and guidance in revealing a Sharia point of view. Despite of the arrangement of Sharia governance, the Sharia Committee's responsibility in guaranteeing a Sharia compliant atmosphere, team culture remains critical in today's countryside. A full-grown Islamic financial system will be reasoned only if practitioners and regulators in the market can incorporate the Sharia component into the extant corporate governance system, eliminating the need for a distinct governance framework. It will also allow Islamic finance organizations to react like a typical corporate organization, naturally evolving in terms of funding required and products available, namely willing to employ or coaching talent mostly on skill required, assigning needful qualified professionals to sit on the board, and displaying competitive edge and difference in line with organizational. Regrettably, wisdom is expected to occur once the business seems to have enough portfolio of Sharia-savvy talent. Sharia-savvy talent board and senior management study regulations but also educate purchasers on Islamic finance. That's all from me. Thank you.
So now I will make a conclusion from our presentation. So in summary, it can be said that the independence of the Sharia community in performing its duties and obligation is highly valued by the Malaysia government. It is clear that the Sharia society must be independent in order to maintain under the law. However, there are several flaws in the current statute that the relevant authorities need to solve. As previously suggested, certain steps are needed to ensure that the Sharia Committee independence in discharging its duties and obligations. This way followed by a concentration on product of correction and development. Sharia scholar participation committees and recommendation have drawn scrutiny and criticism for years, particularly in light of their lack of management independence. So the effective Sharia governments that promote ethics, integrity, credibility, and core value will offer IF credibility the Islamic financial sector continue to expand in the future and have a strong and stretch of Sharia committee. That's all from our group. Thank you, everyone.